I just got my kids down for a nap, so it's officially my first slot of reading time for the day. Thought I'd bring you along with me to go over how I tab and annotate my books. I know everyone kind of has their own little way, but I thought I'd show you how I do it. We're gonna go and read People We Meet on Vacation. The movie comes out really, really soon. I'm super excited for it. I bought the Netflix cover, and this is the one I'm deciding to annotate and tab. I have a couple other copies, but when I first read the book, I didn't go and tab or annotate. I have all my supplies here. I've got my tabs, I've got my pens, my highlighters, I've got my book, obviously. I've got a cozy blanket. I've got a water, no coffee, which is gonna be a problem.
I already know it. I'll probably be in the kitchen making one in like 5 minutes.
Nonetheless, we're gonna start a book. If you haven't subscribed already, I'd love if you would join me for more book content. We're gonna have a good time. Okay, it didn't even take 5 minutes. It was literally one. So, coffee, book, let's get to it. When I begin, first thing I do is I always grab tabs and I pick my colors pretty well always according to the cover. So this one's got oranges, blues, greens, some brown. And so I picked a sheet of tabs that kind of has all of that on there. And then I go and I dedicate like a topic.
Or like a grouping of things, like a topic, maybe?
Anyway, I pick some things that I want to like tab and I know like really make me either like emotional, or it's a quote I want to use, or like I review books, so I like to tab content, and I'll tab like spice just so then I know where they are, and then in my review I will like go back to that and note that. So first things first is I write out those topics, but on these like slippery tabs things don't dry well enough so everything transfers, but I found this one doesn't transfer and this one doesn't smudge. It has to be a ultra fine point Sharpie felt pen from what I found. So I always go ahead and use this for my like declaring what each color is, and then I put that on the first page. So I'm actually gonna grab a book and show you. Okay, so this is Summer Romance by Annabelle Monaghan, and it was my favorite book of 2025, and I tabbed the crap out of it. Total recommend if you really like want a good one. I know that It's a Love Story was also like one of my favorites of last year, and I tabbed that one even more than this one. I'll show you here. Our tabs here, these were my like groupings. Anyway, so I tabbed love for content, relatable, funny, quotes, something that made me giddy. Sometimes I'll just put like emotional. Anyway, really good book. Highly, highly, highly recommend this book. Not only this one though, anything that Annabelle Monaghan reads or writes. Anything Annabelle Monaghan writes. Anything that Annabelle Monaghan writes, you need to read it. So good, not just romance. You get a lot of women's fiction, a lot of character development, a lot of like deep emotional things. Love it. Can't get over it. We'll never get over it. And she's coming out with a new one, Dolly All the Time. Also so good. Please read it. Read all of them. Pre-order them. Do it all. Support this author because I love her. And yeah, I really, really, really recommend her. Back to People We Meet on Vacation. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to write out a couple things. So I've already read this book before. Since it's my reread, I kind of know what I want to annotate in it. Obviously, I'm going to go with love because romance novel, rom-com, easy. I'm going to do like a pinky color for that one because that's usually like correlates with love. I'm all about color coordination. It's usually like, yeah, like I can't smudge that. Which is why I love doing this and writing on these stickies with a Sharpie fine point felt pen. Not the Sharpie pen though, because I tried that and that did not work. Yeah. Okay, so I've got the pinky color. I'm going to do one for funny because It's a rom-com. So I know there's going to be funny stuff in it, and I've read it before. So yes, I love it. I laughed a lot. And I'm going to do a green because spine, sprayed edges, green. And it's like this bright green. I'm going to use that one for my content. When I review it, I like to like pinpoint content. That's what I do. I use my tabbing and annotating as dual purpose. It's both for like my enjoyment and then also for ease of a review afterward too. I need to write, what did I say? Content. That's what I said. If somebody's dealing with anxiety, I would tab that spot where it like first mentions it. I won't tab it all the time. It'll just be that so I can know, okay, there's anxiety representation and that kind of thing. So I'll do content and triggers kind of in the same grouping. Yeah, take that with what you will. That's just kind of for me. I'm going to write down spice because I don't typically read all the spice, so I will skip it and I'll reference that too. I'm going to write emotional because I get emotional in this book, and I think that's all I'm going to do. Sometimes I will end up adding a tab later on, so I'm going to do emotional in this blue color. I haven't quite found how to get my penmanship like the best on these tabs yet, which bothers me to no end because I'm a perfectionist sometimes. Anyway, go ahead and put those all on here. I like to do it on the first page because then I can just go back and reference. Sometimes I forget what color I pick. And then basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start reading. I like to annotate after I'm done the book. So I'll go back after and highlight and underline and do fun little doodles. Hearts being really like the only doodle I do. That's just how I do it. I like to read the book without having to stop all the time and write something down. And I think that's really just for ease for me to read a book with my kids awake if they are. So I will go and just read, tab away, and then I'll come back to you when I'm done and I'll show you how I annotate after. And that sounds like my kids are awake, so I'm probably not going to be able to read it right away. Well, I'll probably read it and tab it while they're awake if they're hanging out and playing, because that sometimes works. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it does. I'll just show you here. Emotional content, spice, funny, and love. Also, a moment for these sprayed edges. I'm like not always the biggest fan of sprayed edges, but this one was fun. It's summary. It's good. I'm so excited for the movie. Anyway, I will be back when I've tabbed the book and maybe partway through. I'll show you my supplies, what I like to use, what I found works best for me. So, going to read, hopefully, and probably have to go get my kids up. So, bye for now. Okay, so I have 40 pages left. I ended up adding 2 other tabs. I added one for quotes, which I usually do, but I didn't end up doing this time apparently. Ended up adding a relatable one. I do that with like a bunch of my favorite books because if a book's my favorite, I usually relate to it. I'm at the point in the book where I get sad. Not my favorite time in this book right now, but that's okay. I'm going to keep going, listen to music, have another coffee. I'm just going to keep going and get through it. I might cry. So I just used my last blue tab, which was my emotional tab. I'm going to pick another color, and with that color, I'm going to go and put it at the front with the blue tab. I'm going to pick purple because it's the closest to the blue. It doesn't really go with the like color theme, but that's just kind of how it happens. There's not enough tabs, so I end up using all of them. That's how I do it. I finished People We Meet on Vacation, and so I'm going to go ahead and now start to annotate. So I'm going to go highlight, underline, draw little doodles. It's really purely for like my own enjoyment, the actual annotations, it emphasizes things that are in the book that I love. So I don't go and annotate every single tab because that'd be a lot. But I'll go and annotate just like some of my favorite spots. So basically, I'm going to go through all my tabs. And obviously, like, I'm not going to go and, like, for some of them, like for the spice and content and triggers and that kind of stuff, I don't go and highlight those kind of things. I'll go more along the lines of the love, relatable, and the quotes. And that's what I'll go and highlight and underline, all that good stuff. Just a good, like, recap of the book for me of what I really enjoyed. I also have, I like to color coordinate everything. I've said that before multiple times. So I just kind of pull out all my pens. These aren't all of them, but kind of ones I think I'm probably going to use. And I try to keep it just like to a couple colors so then I don't feel overwhelmed. But I also want it to look really like pretty and aesthetic in the book. So I picked like my pen colors kind of coordinate here. I don't have an orange, which is odd, but I'm going to just go ahead and use what I have. It really, I just go by how I feel about what I'm going to highlight. And it also like depends if it's the man or the woman too speaking. If it's, I don't know, there's a lot of factors. I really just go with what I feel like doing. So I'll go ahead and do that. And I'll kind of show you little tidbits of that along the way. I'm like nervous showing showing you how I do this. Well, it just makes me so happy when I go back and I underline and highlight and then I make it all look pretty. It just, I, it feels like it makes my emotions on the page. Okay, I just finished annotating kind of what I wanted to do. I'll show you some of them. I find that like when you look at somebody's annotated book, you're really looking at who they are and how they really feel about the book. So it feels really like personal, I guess. And that's why I don't loan out my annotated copies. Even loaning out a tabbed copy is kind of like pushing my limit. I did this whole little section and then did hearts and underlined around what I really loved. I don't know. You need to go read this book if you haven't. Hey there, and then this too. And so like I've already read the book before this, so I know that this is like important and I loved this part. It's just like it's the beginning of something again. Sometimes I'll write little words. Anyway, things like that. So that is annotated. I'm happy with it. I will kind of tell you what brands and stuff I use now too. So for my like highlighters, I use the Zebra mild liners. They don't bleed and they don't show through very bad at all either. So I really like those. And then Also from Zebra, I use the Zebra Sarsa clip pens. Right now I have the 0.5 millimeter ones, and then you can also get some skinnier ones as well. And I like those too, but I find that these are kind of the thickest I like to go with a pen. I like these ones are fun. I had like they're like an antique colory pack, and I don't know where the rest of them are. So yeah, supplies. Those are my supplies. Tabs. I will link all of that stuff in my description too if you want to check it out. Grab some for yourself if you also want to start annotating. I would suggest you do. I've never annotated a sprayed edges book before, and it actually turned out cuter than I thought it would. I thought it would be like messy because the color's on the other color, but I actually like it. It's fun, summery, lots of color, and I'm really happy with it. That's what I use. That's how I annotate. It's kind of what it looks like at the end. And I really, really, really just love it. And now I'm going to wait to watch the movie, and I'll probably sit there with this book. So I'm really excited for the movie. Thanks for coming along and annotating it and tabbing it with me. I hope I gave you some little pointers if you want to start annotating and tabbing yourself. It's fun and it makes me really just love the books I already love even more. I have a really good time doing that, and it's just another part of like the reading process for me that makes me really connect with the books and the stories, and it just makes everything that much more special to me. Yeah. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for hanging around. If you want more book content from me, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Anyway, that's about all I got. Bye.